Hello, I'm Dr. Rajani. I'm the founder of Origins Wellness. I'm your health and wellness coach, and today's topic is human microbiome. I'm your host, and our guest is Dr. Sheeba Belithur. Dr. Sheeba Belithur is a scientist working in microbiology and probiotics in her own lab, Core Valleys Herbal Technologies in Kerala. Today, she is going to explain us about human microbiome. What is microbiome? How microbiome influencing our health in day-to-day basis, and how to improve healthy bacteria, healthy microbiome in the body. Dr. Sheepa, please continue.
Thank you, Dr. Rajani. It was a pleasure. It is actually a privilege to be here, and it's a pleasure to share my work and about uh, my research interests here. Probiotics has been my interest since some time now. Actually, I run a laboratory in Calicut, Kerala. It is called Corvallis Herbal Technologies, as you mentioned. And we are mainly involved in water and food testing. But the research part of the laboratory is also involved in developing different food products, and also in research such as probiotics, and also in other activities. Uh, now, when we get into probiotics, let me share the screen here. So, so the topic on which we are going to talk about today is probiotics, our friends for life. So probiotics, as the name suggests, is pro, which means good, and biotics, mainly the living things like bacteria, fungus, the microbes generally. So good microbes, which are the friends for our life, actually for sustaining our life. Um, you must have heard that we have lots of microbes all over us. When we think about microbes, we have that yucky feeling, which gives us thoughts about you know uh, diseases or infections, or generally dirty things. But microbes are all over our body. Even millions of microbes are there present in each square inch of our body, which is actually very interesting, because thousands of different species of these microbes the skin alone has, and dry patches of our elbow where the skin is quite dry, it's not moist. There we have a different kind of microbes, just like the earth has different environments, and there are different kinds of people all over the earth. The same way, our body also has different kinds of environment, and different kinds of species, microbial species, are in these different environments. And we have more of microbial cells in our body than the human cells. So we are like a supra human being, or a microbial human being, or whatever you can say. So when we look at the human microbiome generally means the uh, uh, the microbial flora, or the microbial collection of microbes in our body. It actually resides in the nose, mouth, lungs, stomach, colon, even sexual organs, and of course on the skin. So mostly these microbes play a big role in our own development, like genetics, environment, our diet. So these microbes are affected by all these, like genetics, our general genetics, environment, diet, lifestyle, our hormones, the industries around us, the external factors. And they also help us in such ways, like in the in the nose, they help with the mucus production. The antimicrobial chemicals that is there in the nose prevent us with the infections from getting into our lungs. In the mouth, which assists in digestion, it also wards off pathogens that can come out from the environment. The lungs, they lubricate the pulmonary tissues so that it is not dry and the air passage is sustained. In the stomach, it prevents gastric complications. It aids the digestion. In the colon, it digests the complex carbohydrates, which are generally difficult for us to digest. And in the sexual organs, they maintain the pH and the H2O2 production by these microbes, kill the other, the pathogen microbes. And it also fortifies the system on the skin. It prevents, the skin plays a big role because it is connected with the outer environment. It separates our body's inner environment from the outer environment. And the microbial communities on the skin play a big role in warding off the pathogens from infecting us, the skin infections. And also, you will be amazed to know that since each of us has a different scent, and that scent is actually governed by the microbial community each of us have. So another thing I wanted to share is that all the human beings on this earth have generally the same kind of cells. Human cells are actually 99.9% similar. All the humans share the same kind of cells, but we are almost 95% different in our microbiome. So we all have different kinds of microbiome. So that's why we have our own ID card. The like microbiota in your intestine is like your own ID card. You will have the microbial community that each one of us have are very different. Even when you look at the twins, they should share same kind of traits and same kind of things, but even their microbiome is quite different. So each one of us are different in every ways when we look at the microbiome. So and so since the microbial community inside and outside our skin plays such a big role, we should also know how to protect it, how to understand if our microbiome is low. The signs will be digestive issues like constipation, gas or bloating, mental issues, depression, anxiety, brain fog, or vitamin and mineral deficiencies like vitamin D, vitamin K, magnesium, B12, B7, or overuse of antibiotics. That's one sign which shows that our microbiome is depleting. And then chronic unmanaged stress, that will be also due to the microbiome imbalance in us. Skin problems like eczema or acne, or autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, etc. Now, how you will obviously have this question, when do we get our microbiome? It's actually very interesting because the moment we are conceived, like as a small embryo, we don't have many microbes in us because we are essentially sterile. That's what the research shows. But as soon as the baby is growing in the mother's placenta, amniotic fluid, it interacts with the mother's microbes in the amniotic fluid, and through the placenta, where the food is coming to the baby from mothers. Even placenta contains a lot of some of microbiome, mother's microbiome, the gut microbiome is there. Then as the baby is coming out from the womb, it also depends on how the baby is coming out, like if it is a C-section or it is a vaginal birth. These two can it will change your microbiome drastically. If it is a vaginal birth, the mother's vagina contains a lot of microbes that can come into the baby's body, which helps the baby in various issues later on. And also, if it's a C-section, it is mostly the skin microbes that comes to the baby's body. And also, of course, the operating room, operating table, the nurse hands, all these microbes interact with the baby. So it's very interesting. And after the baby comes out, how the baby is fed, if it's the mother's milk that's being fed to the baby, or it is the baby bottle fed. So that also affects the microbiome of the baby. And as the baby grows, that's why the breastfeeding is so important. The baby does not have a gut microbiome, a fully developed microbial community in its stomach. So it is very difficult for the baby to digest the external food. It relies completely on mother's milk for its development, for the digestive system to develop. So the breastfeeding is so important. And also, after around it is 6 months or 1 year old, the baby's digestive system is ready to accept the solid foods and all the foreign foods. That's when you have to give the baby and the solid foods. So see how interesting it is, what a big role the microbiome plays in our development in the early stages. So here it shows the vaginal and versus cross-section delivery. When it is vaginal delivery, the vaginal microbes, mainly the lactobacillus, is introduced into the baby's gut. And there's normal development of the immune system, production of certain cytokinins for proper immune system development. And here it shows the cesarean delivery, where the skin flora, Staphylococcus bacteria is introduced into the microbes, into the gut microbial community of the baby. And that's an abnormal microbial introduction. And disrupted intestinal microbial colonization occurs, increased risk of atopic diseases, asthma, allergic rhinitis, celiac disease, and also delayed onset of lactation, because during the cesarean delivery, because of the antibiotics that's given to the mother before the delivery for preventing infection, that antibiotics will affect the baby's development of baby's microbial flora. And also the lactation, during the lactation, the lactobacillus inside the breast milk is reduced because of this antibiotics into the mother's system. So lack of breast milk support for the gut flora will become a problem. But we can overcome this by proper lactation for a longer period of time for the baby to develop its own microbiome in a good way.
And interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting. Very interesting.
Yes, it is actually very interesting when you look at it, and the meta, and how the mother, how the baby will get the good microbiota from the mother is even further verified in this picture here. Look at it, the breast, when the baby is breastfed, the skin microbiome is introduced into the baby's mouth. The oral microbiota is formed at that stage. And also the mammary glands are connected to the mother's stomach through various, it's an enteromammary pathway. The lymph and blood circulation ensures that the gut microbes are delivered to the baby's baby's stomach, baby's milk, and colostrum and the milk microbiota together develops the infant's gut microbes. So actually very interesting. So the young mothers should
this.
look at this and understand what's going on. Now, we see that the bacteria on our skin, inside our body, plays such a big role. How do you balance our gut bacteria? We have to, of course, avoid toxins like refined foods like sugars, dairy, unhealthy oils. All these contains other bacteria. Dairy, if it is fresh, it's fine. But if it doesn't, since it doesn't contain any probiotics, any microbes in it, it's not. It doesn't. It is not good for our system because the lactose present in it do not have any do not have we do not have the enzymes to digest this lactose, not much, but these microbes, the already formed microbial community can process the dairy. But it does contain certain toxins which are not good for our microbiome development, the normal development. And we should eat more of fermented foods, which I will explain what all fermented foods we can take. Probiotic supplements are there. And we also have to manage stress. The microbiomes are so sensitive in our body. If we have like a small infection, thousands of them die. Not thousands, probably millions of them die. When we sneeze a little, a lot of them die. So we have to manage our stress to maintain our health. The exercise improves our microbiome. Exercise is also a mood booster. So maintain your health with exercise. We can increase our microbiome by playing in the mud. Earlier days, kids used to play in the mud, and our parents had allowed us, but nowadays we don't allow our kids because we think it is infections can come in. But playing in the mud is one of the way to get good microbes, because our garden mud contains a lot of good bacteria. And we can also get that from gardening, which is a very constructive activity. If we do it, we can get the veggies from our own garden and also get the good microbes. Of course, diet plays a big role in maintaining our microbiome, because the food that we consume has its own microbiome. All living organisms on this earth have their own microbiome. So the fresh produce, the fresh veggies that are there around us gives us the good bacteria which supplements our health. But diet rich in ultra processed foods do not contain good bacteria, because all the microbiome that was there when they were before the processing are all gone by the time it's processed. Most of it is heat processed, so it's all gone. And what starts growing on it is bad bacteria, pathogenic bacteria. If the preservatives are not there in those foods, bad bacteria grows, and we get infection into our stomach. So it is not a good idea to rely much on ultra processed foods. But if you want to feed on it, try to make it as little as possible. And the eubiosis and dysbiosis is, the infection. I think Dr. Rajani can explain this more, the slide, because when you eat good diet, you have eubiosis, which is thriving off the better bacteria, and which which maintains our health, and dysbiosis, which destroys the system.
It is like a overall creating a balance and imbalance with the
Balance, yeah.
diet.
Balance of good microbes and imbalance of uh,
Yeah.
more of bad bacteria, bad microbes. So yeah, we should of course rely on seasonal and local fruits and veggies for consumption, because of course once in a while we can try exotic fruits and veggies, but one thing is for sure, because when these fruits and these vegetables and fruits, when they come from faraway lands, they have to be preserved. They don't stay long if they are not preserved with pesticides or insecticides. So the insecticides are there on these veggies, and the microbiome is mostly lost because of these pesticides, insecticides. So there is not much point in eating which are not seasonal or local, which are not readily available in our land. So go for local ones, locally grown, or most preferably grown in your own garden, or like microgreens and things like that. So yeah, and another probiotic is the good old yogurt that we eat at home, the curds that we eat at home, cultured in our own home, and we can mix some fruits or berries or something in it and eat, which is the good probiotic we already have at home. Then there are probiotics like kombucha, which I am interested in. It is a fermented sugared tea. You just ferment the nicely sugared tea with a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, which you can find. You can see the floating on top, which is the mother, which is called mother, which contains all the bacteria and yeast. Almost 400 species of bacteria and yeast have been isolated from this drink in laboratories. So this contains a very big amount of probiotics, and this has this, if it can be fermented for 14 days, it essentially turns sugar into vinegar. So you will have the sweetness of sugar and the sourness of vinegar, and a little bit of alcohol is formed, around 0.5%, which is not much, but it will have that little punch of alcohol will be there. So overall, it's a very, very, very tasty drink, and it is filled with probiotics. Another one is water kefir. This is also a fermented traditional drink with you can add any kind of fruit, water, juice, and make this drink. This also contains a mixture of bacteria and yeast, and it also has small grains of polysaccharide biofilm matrix, essentially bacterial cellulose. So this also contains a big mixture of bacteria and yeast. There is milk kefir, which is made by fermenting milk, any kind of milk, not only dairy milk, but also coconut milk, soya milk. All these can be fermented to get kefir. This also contains a large amounts of lactic acid bacteria, not only lactobacillus, but other bacteria as well. And also many yeasts and molds are present in this. It looks essentially like a yogurt only, but it is much more than yogurt. And this is our traditional Indian probiotic drink, which is Kanji. I understand it is found more in northern India, in Punjab mainly. But now it's quite popular in northern parts, all the northern parts of India. This is Kanji, and it is made by fermenting beetroot or black carrots. Beetroot is added. If normal carrots are there, then you can add beetroot to get that color. or you can use black carrots, and also crushed mustard seeds is added into it, and it's fermented for uh, 3 days to get this drink. And you can spice it up, or you can sweeten it, I guess, to drink this. Of course, in southern India, there is Payankani. In earlier days, we used to put the leftover rice in water, and this was consumed the next day. This also contains a lot of probiotics. The next day, we cut some onions in it, and crush some chilies, and they put some curd in it, and it's good to go as a great breakfast, probiotic breakfast. In olden days, Kerala, this was quite popular, and I hope it becomes quite popular now also, because of the good probiotic mixture present in it. And then some interesting facts I wanted to conclude with is, there was one which is related to our probiotic topic. So there was one man who was arrested for drunken driving once, but the police checked him and checked his breath for alcohol, because he was driving the car in a very like a drunkards do. So he was arrested, and he was smelling, reeking of alcohol in his breath. But he said that I had never drunk alcohol in my life. And his wife and his family also said that we have not seen him drinking, but he always reeks of alcohol. But so we are thinking maybe he's hiding something from us. But when he was taken to hospital one day, he collapsed due to high alcohol intake, and he collapsed, and his doctor, when they tested him, he was having a big yeast infection. His stomach was completely filled with yeast, and he was like a microbrewery. Whatever sugar he eats, this is from America. So and they eat quite sugary foods are quite a lot in America, I guess. So he used to eat a lot of sugary foods, and he used to make his own alcohol inside the stomach, because there were lots of yeast present in it. So he must have got rid of his microbiome by maybe antibiotic use or some other way, and he had his own wine making. Home wines were made in his home, so he must have acquired the yeast from the wines, and a microbrewery in his own stomach was happening. Fortunately, he was cured of infection by taking antifungal medicines. So ending was good of the story. But beware, all of you, if you lose your microbiome like this, and give way for bad bacteria or bad yeast to develop in your stomach, things like that can happen. And there's also this is called fecal microbiota transplant, which has been documented in Chinese medicine. They used to do fecal transplant, because transplanting one person's microbiome into the other person's colon, essentially the colon area, where which can be accessed through the colonoscopy. The healthy persons, when you have an unhealthy microbiome and different diseases are there, it can be cured with a fecal transplant. Essentially take the fecal culture, the fecal sample of one person, and it was cultured for bad bacteria. If bad bacteria is not there in that, that was filtered and then introduced into the acceptor person, the patient, through the colonoscopy. And nowadays, there are many hospitals that is doing it. Even there has been reports by the ICMR, in ICMR itself, of these kinds of treatments. So that's where I would like to end. And thank you, Rajani, for this opportunity to share my thoughts.
Yeah. Thank you, Sheeba. It was wonderful presentation. We came to know many new things which we were not aware about microbiome. So viewers, hope you all must have understood what is exactly microbiome, or like how we are related. So just to take a quick recap of what Dr. Sheeba spoke, I would say there are microbiome are huge in number, more than even human cells, and are concentrated at different places on our skin, like different zones of the body, even within the body, and mostly concentrated in the gut part, that is the digestive tract. So our entire health is controlled by this microbiome. So make sure you take control of what you eat and your lifestyle habits, and even your stress, exercise, and sleep patterns also influence the balance of this microbiota. If there is any imbalance in this microbiome, it creates havoc in your health. It relates to various chronic diseases. It even causes leaky gut. Your gut lining also gets damaged if there is severe imbalance of this microbiota in the digestive tract. And that leads to entry of various toxins and various irritants into your blood circulation, and even bad bacteria, infectious bacteria also enters your blood circulation, leading to various chronic infections and diseases in our body, even autoimmune disorders. So be careful related to your health, what you eat, and your lifestyle habits, and take some professional help to lead a healthy lifestyle. And thank you, Dr. Sheeba, for your inputs on human microbiome. Hope this will be of great help for all our viewers. Thank you.
Thank you.